So, as the title that I written suggests, I'm not going to be progressing with the story yet. I'm just going to be doing some lore reading of the enemies and the history of the Night Sentinels, and also a showcase of the toys I have so far that I've collected. This is going to be a bit of a boring stream, but it's going to be more of a, just a lore, because I just didn't have the time to read the lore of the enemies or the Night Sentinels, but this time, this is just going to be dedicated, this stream is going to be dedicated to the lore reading. Because I don't know
what... Do you require anything else before we begin our journey to Earth? You will not be able to return until the mission is complete.
Yes, I know, I already have it. It's right here. And it is a beast. Okay. First, let's just take a look. See, look. You got all of the toys. There's the Slayer, Arachnotron, Cacodemon, Carcass, Cuball, Cyber Mankybus, Gargoyle, Hell Knight, Imp, Lost Soul, Mankybus, Regular, the Marauder, Mecha Zombie, the Pain Elemental. The Pain Elemental was so hard to obtain. It was such a pain, both figuratively and literally. Pinky, Prowler, Revenant, Soldier Blaster, Soldier Shield, Whiplash, and Zombie Earth. Those are the only ones so far that I have obtained, but because of the spacing, there's still more to come. So, yeah, this looks like a good spot too. I can't sit on it. Okay. Well, let's just pretend we're sitting on this chair, shall we? Alright. Nope, that's the wrong button. Okay. So, let us do the enemies first. Erdak, okay. Alright, so we have the zombies, the most basic. Possessed by the influence of hell, these once human underlings that follow in hell's ranks are those that have been corrupted and deceived by its power, forsaking their own humanity. Those who have fully succumbed to hell's control cannot be saved, becoming mindless, grotesque contortions of their former selves. Basically, they're not human anymore. Oh, okay. Okay, remember, X is to leave inventory, back is... circle is to leave entirely. Okay, next we have the imps. Scavengers of the underworld. Imps are among the most common of beasts found in the scorched surface of the hellscape. Lesser demons of hell, the imps possess limited intelligence, driven only by a hunter's impulse to seek out prey. A task for which the imp is naturally suited due to its innate capacity for violence. As a result of these attributes, the imp makes for an ideal foot soldier and is oft deployed in the warring legions of hell, easily manipulated and controlled by commanding hell-highborn demons at the behest of the sovereign chapters. It is common for the imp to appear at the front line of an offensive attack, an expendable resource unleashed in great numbers to overcome and break through the enemy front. Next we have the soldiers. Once frontline infantry fighting to protect Earth from the demon invasion, the Hell Soldiers have been claimed by darkness, turning them against their fellow soldiers in the midst of battle. Gargoyle. This one is a newer one. Like their imp brethren, the gargoyle is an agile, relentless pack hunter. Native to the Sentinel world, this beast has plagued the Sentinel Guard for centuries. As one of the few demon breeds that could bypass the walled defenses of Sentinel Prime, the gargoyle could appear without warning and claim hapless townspeople before disappearing into the wasteland. Only the most skilled marksmen of the Night Sentinels could intercept this aerial threat, a peril which demanded an ever-vigilant watch over the city's perimeter. Lost Souls. This one is a long one. The Lost Soul has its origin among the damned, former humans who have fallen from the mortal world, doomed as an unliving entity as sin-branded slaves of hell. The damned are seemingly endless in numbers, their populations growing by the thousands with each rise of the black sun. For many, the torturous existence of the crushing slave labor is all that awaits. The bodies of the damned are brittle, and those who become broken in labor, their bodies ruined, dismembered, or otherwise incapable of servitude, are transported to the pits where their souls must be extracted for further use. Those unfortunate enough to escape this process are what inevitably become lost souls. Their spirits transmogrified into physical form. The lost soul knows only madness, its memory of a haunted image of its former mortal life. These creatures live in fleeting existence, roaming mindlessly, seeking out that which can grant them a final death. That's pretty good writing right there. The Maker drones. First, let's just... Okay. Erdak's population is mainly comprised of drones, being that exist as extensions of the Khan Maker's will. Though each is endowed with their own unique identity, they remain biologically unable to resist a command from their Khan, and so function in a perfectly synchronized colony system. Drones never leave Urdak, their bodies not yet mature enough to avoid harm while crossing dimensions. Then say that about the Slayer Gate that I found them in. What? But that's just my person. I get it. It's lore-wise, so far, like outside of Slayer Gates, we haven't encountered them yet. But they are in Urdak. But I guess the Slayer Gates that just doesn't care. All right. The Arachnotron. As we can see, yeah. All right. Arachnotrons are built with genetic material recovered from the remains of the original spider mastermind, bioengineered for cyber augmentation. While its actual body exhibits only limited mobility, the oddly cerebral qualities of the Arachnotron make it a prime candidate for the impulse-controlled prosthetic frame that it now permanently inhabits. The UAC facility responsible for the Arachnotron's creation, intending to engineer and weaponize demons for their own use, was overrun after an outbreak occurred inside its assembly plant, killing everyone inside. The facility, still operating under directive of the administrative AI, continues to manufacture Arachnotrons automatically. I'm just going to say that. I can't. So, alright. The Cacodemon. Hunters of the Slothlands. The Cacodemon lurks the bottomless and murky depths of hell in search of easy prey. An aimless wanderer, the Cacodemon is mostly devoid of cognitive ability, sensory awareness, and otherwise commonly occurring impulses. Driven only by a singular desire to feed, the Cacodemon is likely to appear wherever there is flesh to be consumed, bringing with it an insatiable propensity for hunger. It is said that the Cacodemon bears some resemblance to the cycloptic titans of ancient hell lore, leading Sentinel scholars to believe that the forgotten titans may yet live on in some disembodied form. The Carcass. I don't like these guys that much, but I like their design. I wish we can zoom in. We can only see them in their full form in the when you inspect their toy. The product of inhuman biomechanical engineering, the Carcass was created in the remote labs of the cultist Enclave. Enclave. Neither truly living nor dead. It exists in a state of perpetual reanimation, its cybernetic armature simulating a living impulse with a decaying organic host, devising as a means of extending a soldier's usefulness in combat after death. The unliving host can only be destroyed by severing the body from its cybernetic implants. Interesting. The Cybermancubus. Mechanized and heavily augmented, The cyber Mankibus is equipped for frontline warfare. Equipped with dual barrel arm mounted mortar cannons. The Mankibus's integrated weapon system utilizes the body's naturally occurring biotoxins, refining this corrosive, vicious membrane into a toxoplasmid munition feed. Siphoned from the spinal gland and funneled intravenously to the weapon conversion system. The corrosive secretion is discharged by a alternating firing mechanism, which dispenses the toxoplasmid as either heated projectile or ignited fluid, the latter resulting in a flamethrower, like incendiary spray capable of burning through armored plating. Okay, that was a mouthful. The Dread Knight. A variation of the Hell Knight breed, the Dread Knight has been modified and hardwared for aggression. Armed with a prothesis powering energy blade augments. The Dread Knight is the lethal result of UAC cultist engineering. Ephraim regulators modulate the Dread Knight with an unbreakable flow of rage addled adrenaline, while its endorphin receptors have been synchronized to respond with the use of its arm-mounted blades. With each kill, the Dread Knight is injected with a flood of artificial dopamine. As a result of its augmentation, the Dread Knight is driven by a biochemical engineered state of pure, unbroken rage, a suffering for which respite can only be found in the act of the kill. That's... wow. Now we have the Hell Knight, which they have eyes now. The last game, they didn't. Okay, hold on. I need to get a drink. All this talking is making me thirsty. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. I got myself some water, because I need it. The Hell Knight, warrior beast among demons, has earned its place over the millennia in service of the eternal archdemons. As imposed by the sovereign houses, Hell Knights have long served as barbaric enforcers of the netherworld, impelling lesser demons by way of brutality, rare among demonkind for its innate regard for primal orders of hierarchy. The Hell Knight exhibits adhesive adherence to the prevailing rule of its demon lord masters, requiring little compulsion on behalf of its highborn masters. Hell Knights readily serve the elder Hell Gods for the extent of their lifespans, reaping great satisfaction in the way of war and desecration. Again, the writing is good. We have the regular Minky Bus. The Tubba-Wubbas. The Minky-Bus, hulking behemoth of the demon world, bears notable difference from those of its kind first encountered by the UAC expedition team on Mars. Unlike its brethren, which wore a natural occurring armored carapace, this variation shows clear signs of pre-existing man-made modifications. Armor plating augmentation to its exterior and a sophisticated arm-mounted weapon system indicate a clear intent to upgrade and weaponize the fighting capacity of the Minky-Bus, whose heavy structure and resilience makes it a formidable threat in battle. We have next the Pain Elemental. An abhorrent creation of the umbral planes, the Pain Elemental is descended from the primal, abominable depths of the demon world. Knowing only its known torment, the elemental is caused to forge lost souls within the fiery pit of its gut, a process that is excruciating and without end for the duration of the creature's miserable lifespan. The elemental's only reprieve from its own agonizing, torturous existence is the projection of suffering into the world. For this reason, the Pain Elemental reaps great satisfaction from indiscriminate killing and the infliction of misery upon those weaker than itself. Pinky. As hell emerged on Earth, the Pinky began to appear on terrestrial soil in great number, rapidly becoming a bane of existence to Ark military fortifications. Utilizing its armored frontal carapace, the Pinky is able to penetrate defensive encampments, breaking through walled defenses and using its ramming ability to upturn and immobilize armored vehicles. Arc deployments dependent on their ability to hold the line against encroaching forces of hell, could be disrupted and even overtaken by a single pinky, where it able to penetrate and break through their defensive matrix, allowing a greater demon influx to pour in after it. The arc rapidly prioritized to the target's stasis of the pinky, ensuring high-range bombardment to prevent the pinky from gaining proximity. For some reason, that was a difficult word for me. Prowler. This one was used in the last game in the multiplayer. So this one is kind of new. A creature of darkness, the Prowler hunts from the shadows, preferring stealth and concealment to open conflict. Imbued with parietal improvision, the Prowler is capable to see that which is unseen to the naked eye. Known among the Sentinels as the Night Stalker, the Prowler's preternatural sense of sight makes it a lethal hunter, capable of tracking its prey even in the pitch black of dark. Believed to be Prehistoral descendant to the lesser imp brooding, the Prowler is rarely seen in groups, forsaking pack hunting for the precision of solitary pursuit. Revenant. The Revenant program, bioweapon experiment utilizing reanimated necrotic human tissue, was believed to have been destroyed with the collapse of the UAC facility on Mars. However, the emergence of the cultist enclaves on Earth, former UAC deviations, now under Hell's direct control, have begun work on a second wave of production of the Revenant program, which of the platform's existing weapon payload is preserved as original design, the cyber neural programming was undergone modification. Patterned signals are wired to the host's frontal cortex, which in turn stimulate a state of frenzied, unrestrained bloodlust. While these signals are active, the host is incapable of thinking or feeling anything but a singular compulsion to inflict death and violence on the living. The Spectre. Born from an ancient screed of forbidden psychromancy, it was by the Tomic inscriptions of the occultic six-sealed eyes that the Spectre was made manifest. Divined in desecrated ruins untouched by light for an eternity. Warlocks of an abandoned sovereign house unearthed the Verboten scripture, seeking rebellion by the means of black magic against the rule of the infernal archdemons. By way of sorcery, where numerous abominations and ungodly forms sought forth into the hellscape. Among them, the spectre, ethereal amalgam of the Pinky, for their role in these miscreations, the archdemons would enact as retribution against the insurgents an unspeakable punishment, a decree of suffering that could be without end. Alright. The Whiplash. And this is the last of the heavy. Whiplash, a scavenger of the hellscape. The Whiplash creature was first discovered by UAC expedition teams in the black desert of the Sanctum Wastelands. These elusive serpentine demons moved with great speed and agility. They were capable of striking from a great distance with reactable bladed whips concealed within their forearms. This particular demon breed became an object of great interest to the UAC engineers on Earth. While attempts to capture live specimens of this nimble and unpredictable creature proved to be exceptionally dangerous. After successfully acquiring living specimens, researchers implanted cybernetic augmentations designed to enhance the Whiplash's innate strength and lethality. The Archvile. I hate these things. No. Okay. Forged from hellfire, the Archvile is feared among lesser demons for its innate ability to channel and manipulate the unholy powers of hell magic. Descended from the eldest race of demons, the Archvile has long held a place within the ruling caste of highborn demonkind, possessing superior intellect among the demon ranks. The Archvile's psychomancy powers make it a natural-born ruler of the savage and primitive beasts of hell, capable of bending weak-minded underlings to serve its will. Yeah. Blood Punch can instantly destroy its shield, and it's weak when it's... yeah. So basically in a fight, these guys are your priorities. And yeah. I don't like these guys. Baron of Hell. The Fireborn Barons have evolved, this descendant clan of the Baron Hellbreed, and are indigenous to the caustic scorched hellscapes, bordering the burning abyss. A landscape of cragged spires forged from unbreakable black stone, tempered by the crashing waves of magnetic tide, of magmatic tide. These sulfuric plains of hell have long served as banishing grounds, a place of exodus to which the damned are sentenced as their final destination. The fire-born barons have evolved in this environment, sustaining themselves on the remnants of the damned, growing obsidian carapaces, and in time becoming infused with the very incendiary matter of hell itself. We have the Doom Hunter. This one is a Vega entry. Once a race of beast-like hunters, the Doom Hunter creature was known to Sentinel warriors in ages past as lethal stalkers of the Metal Age. Extracted from frozen depths of the polar tundra, the Doom Hunter belongs to an ancient race uncovered during cultist excavation in the remote Arctic. Preserved below the frozen ice for millions of years, the unearthed remains of this creature were deemed suitable for recreation, becoming the subject of cultist necro-regenerative bioexperimentation. Okay, sorry about that, I'm back. Within the remote cultist citadel, a high-tech ritual altar which towers over the Golgothan ruins. The Doom Hunter was ceremoniously and systematically resurrected and rebuilt. While the majority of its components are now cybernetic, it retains a high degree of mental factuality, a sentient, brutal hunting instinct augmented with the armaments of a tank division. The Marauder. As civil war consumed Argent Denner, the Night Sentinels Guard was quartered by their faith, torn between serving the Khan Maker or revolting against that which they swore to protect. Those most delusioned foresaw their oaths to the Sentinel loyalty, abandoning their pact and of allegiance made to the throne. These hardened warriors joined the separatist group led by the exalted priest class, allying themselves with the Makers and their devout acolytes in an attempted coup against the Sentinel royal house. Those Sentinel warriors who fell in battle have sided with the Makers, were ultimately denied finality in death, resurrected by the divinity machine of Maker design. These fallen Sentinels were returned from the dead, transformed by Hell's power and recreated with a singular purpose: to hunt the Slayer, now reborn as knights in Hell's army. So, the one on the left is what they originally looked like, and the one on the right is what they look like now. Now we have the Tyrant. Demon lords to the black soul pits of Babel. The Tyrants have long served as wardens and slavers of the infernal pits. Weaponized and cybernetically altered by the UAC, the Tyrants are tasked with overseeing the collection and extraction of sin-branded human souls from the mortal world. Their role in hell, ordained by the unholy sigil of the elder hell gods. A sadistic master of lesser demons, the Tyrants are feared for their cruelty and malice. Ambient, which is the buff totem. Incarnal manifestations of human suffering. These totems are formed from the tortured renaissance of the once living, made flesh by the black arts of demonic psychromancy, a beacon of necroplasmic dark wave energy. The buff totem, once fully formed, radiates with the surrounding environment with a dark cloud of hell magic. This energy possesses influence of great power for anything living caught in its wake. Demons, while in its presence, becomes adrenalized, their aggressiveness and bloodlust amplified. Inversely, these totems have become symbols of fear for humans who have encountered them, its presence tainting the mind with nightmarish terror. The protagonization of these totems would ultimately necessitate the development of the Arc Mind Shield, a cyber neural implant which could immunize its soldiers from the psionic properties of the buff totem. Cue Ball. Former UAC engineers, these malformed zombies were rendered inept during the War for Earth. Their bodies are now a disturbing fusion of body, bone, and barrel. And we have the tentacle. The subject of great scrutiny for UAC scientists on Earth. These health-grown formations have appeared all over the planet, taking hold wherever hell has made its appearance known, forming chaotic, seemingly random structural patterns. The propagation of hell growth is taking root at an alarming rate, exhibiting a cellular reproduction system that ARC scientists fear may become impossible to contain. The resultant environmental effect is extremely hostile to terrestrial life, producing atmospheric biocontagions and a multitude of organic hazards. Wherever these nest-like formations emerge, they are projected by swaths of defensive tendrils, long thorn tentacles that demonstrate even a keen awareness of their surroundings, fully capable of disemboweling anything that it deems to be a potential threat to the nest. Okay. Alright, that's the story of hell. Story of the Sentinels, this is what we want. Okay, okay. I was just making sure that I had them all. Okay. So. Alright. Translation. Okay. Book of Kings. In the days before man first spoke, an immense shard of rock and metal was cast onto the world from the heavens. Thunder and cataclysmic shock shook the land as the skies were torn asunder. The cosmic spear cleft a hole through our mortal lands, pole to pole, from the cold wastes of the umbral plains to the fetid swamps of Iron Fang. The womb of the world opened, and the elemental race, the firstborn, spilled forth. Hold on. Okay. They took to the skies, fierce in their emancipation, in their exultation. They brought vitality to the land, and all that felt their breath were awakened from eternal slumber. Fierce beasts and an unforgiving biosphere rose in the passing of their shadow as the wraith call echoed across Argent Nur. First came the ancestrals, feral creatures invigorated by the magic of the race. They grew to enormous heights, mighty behemoths who waged war with each other for years untold. Their battles tore the land asunder and destroyed all creation caught in their wake. The wraith call continued to spread across the land, and soon Argenta emerged from the steppes, our souls stirred into form by the power of their breath. The Titans towered over the wild-blooded tribes, but found them uncowed. The secret of the sword was discovered, and in the darkness of sweltering mountain forges, we beat steel until it was strong enough to pierce bone and shear flesh. Thus we came to be, born of rock and fire, lowly in birth but risen by the strength of our will. By the blessed we claimed dominion of creation by right of blood and magic, and the time of man came to be. With the ancestral beasts driven back to their bleak valleys, we rose. We tilled the fertile land, husbanded beasts of burden, and built towering cities. In the hollowed palace, on the obsidian throne, we crowned King Ormero the Father, the first of the line that shall reign in perpetuity. We built the Cathedral of Reflection to worship the first ones, and formed the Order of the Dag. Those priests paid tribute to the sons and daughters, chose the path to the tribute to the wraiths, and appease their tempestuous hunger. I kind of skipped the line. Our sons and daughters chose the path of the sword, or the path of the alchemist, for each duty honors the gods. Though our ways were righteous, we were not without strife. Storms and great quakes cast our spires down. Barbaric tribes laid siege to our lands in search of the great gifts Mother Argenta had bestowed upon our world, and the song of the wraith call threatened to drive lesser men into madness. We were not lesser men. We defended that which the first ones gifted to us, our lands and the right to the bounty held within. We beat back the barbarian hordes and hardened our resolve. We rose above the fire, our bodies and souls tempered, and an unbreakable will was shaped in the forge of battle. What emerged was the heart of our legion, the Order of the Night Sentinels. Alright. The Maker. In the time of grief, when King Etrex took the throne, a blessing came to the people of Argenta. white porcelain beings from a world above our own brought gifts to the Nor. Observers to our great deeds, admirers of our convictions, they sought to make bond with our swords and bring lasting order to our world. Okay, this one's a long paragraph. These were beings unlike any we had seen before. Sword and shield held no weight against them, for the ethereal flesh of these luminous beings seemed unbound by mortality. Able to move through time and space, they held sway over all dominions of the known and unknown dimensions. Through their ways we grew stronger, our society bolstered by their infinite wisdom and all-knowing power. Come on, headset, why won't you charge? There we go. Okay, where was I? Assuring our people's safety for all time, in this world and the next, where we sharpened the blade and mastered our magic. We bolstered the soul and spirit. They bolstered the soul and spirit. Death would no longer be the end of our people. The ones we call the Makers, our new allies in this brutal world, have given us the security in death we fought so hard to achieve in life. We would find eternal peace, and our minds would rest easy with the knowledge that those we fought alongside in battle would join us in the lands beyond the mortal plane. The strength... Okay, what? The strength of our ways, the purity of our essence, would by Maker law grant us passage to the great city in the clouds. There, our women and children, warriors and kin alike, would welcome us. Need a drink. We adopted the holy doctrines of the Makers, gifted in exchange with the chance to earn eternal rest for our immortal souls in blessed Erdak. The covenant we held now under the embrace of our new gods fostered a peace we had never known, for we were unlike the first ones. Those presents offered no paradise from fear and the uncertainty of existence in a harsh and unforgiving world. The Maker's embrace was warm and guided us into an era of spiritual prosperity. All this talking is making my throat dry. Okay. Okay, there we go. with machine and enchantment of the makers. The Argenta brought our newfound clarity to the disparate realms of the Empyrean void. We took flight with the support of our gods, spreading the enlightened world of the Con Maker. We discovered there was not one enemy, but many. The worlds and the peoples unknown to the Argenta were unveiled. And we saw our own suffering reflected in our eyes. Our righteous army strode into battle under the banner of the Night Sentinels and fought for the freedom of all peoples. Why? From the grasp of those who would exploit and prey upon them. Though we battled on soil not our own, the blood we shed in foreign land safeguarded Argent Denure, and the sons and daughters that defended it. Through the strange peoples we liberated, new alliances were formed, and our beliefs became their own. Our armies swelled. As the Argenta traversed the stars with gleaming war fleets, the Khan of the Makers approached King Roan on his throne. He sensed his god relentless by her disquiet manner. The king and Khan spoke, and the god revealed she had foreseen a schism. She spoke of the holy rites to be performed on the strongest of our warriors. Only those that proved worthy would be tested, for the impurity would reside in only the most resilient of our legion. The divinity machine, a great tribute by Consolaris, would help us to cleanse any impurities from our flocks, ensuring our continued prosperity in this world and in the Maker realm that awaited in the afterlife. The malicious one, if not exhumed from our ranks, would jeopardize our safe passage to the heavenly realm of Urdak. The Dark One was not amidst them yet, or would he be for any generations. Only the Mother God, through the divination and Maker sight, would determine when he strode before them. The Makers were truth, and only their unclouded eyes could find the one who was marked. The prophecy of the Unholy One was written, but through the ages the warning grew faint, until the Con Maker herself and the highest priests of the Order Deg still whispered of he that would one day come to threaten their way of light. That looks like the, so this is like their ship, like basically the fortresses, okay. Okay. Oh wait, view the image. The Doom guy. In the time of King Novik, as the Argenta secured peace and safety through dimensions across time and space, an outworlder came to us. He was not of our world, and spoke an ugly tongue. How he first took step upon our land was unknown. Sentinel scouts had found the outworlder bloodied, clawed, and near death, mumbling of impending doom and the forces of darkness. The scent of blood followed him, and the gore that stained his armor seemed not entirely his own. By Argenta law, the stranger would be judged in the Colosseum, where he would be given the chance for all who stray from the path to fight for his freedom. We knew not of this stranger. His mind seemed crippled with rage. He dressed in attire not suited for our lands, and carried munition of arcane origin. We watched as his will overcame his injuries, and in the blood arena he proved his worth. The Outlander's technique was crude and brutal, but the determination in his charge echoed that of any true-born sentinel. His war cry echoed through the Colosseum, as did the sound of his fury, and the guards cheered his banner. Rip and tear, they shouted as the beast pushed beyond mortal wounds and certain death. He would be gifted no rank, no title. The survivors in the arena were provided only one reward: to the right to earn an honorable death, while spreading the blessings of the Makers to those in need. The Outlander's determination was witnessed, his ravings documented, and through the word of the ordered day the Khan Maker made him brought before her. She set her minions to learning his tongue, for with his ugly words he spoke of lands unseen, creatures born of fire, and a dark place unknown to the queen and her caste. Yet another opportunity to expand the gift of the Makers to those in need. We have demons invading. There's so many. Okay, that's all? Okay. On the eve of the Black Star, the Dark Ones came from a world beneath our own, not through ship nor ephemeral vessel, but through the fabric of dimensions. Out of swerving fiery gates came horned beasts from a timeless realm. First one, then many crashing waves of evil swelled from the obsidian forest of the Argentian overlands. The Alorum clans from the eastern mountains fell first, to the black hordes of devils. And the city of Talorum was slung under the weight of their charge. We Sentinels rose to meet the beasts with spear in hand, the might of the Holy Fleet striking back at the demons. But the dark gates from whence they came gave birth still to even greater hordes. A line of blood was drawn when the fallen of both sides, and the unholy wars began as the time of darkness came upon us. I'm almost done. At least I think. So, okay. Studying the MIC. Unlike enemies of the past, we could not contain the demons emergent from the dark realm. Their weaponry was not conjured from machined steel, but from the essence of their very being, a dark magic not known to us in their many conquests. In our many conquests, we had not known. We had grown overconfident, our victories serving to dull our blade as we drank in the glory of our expanding empire. Lost, we knew not of how to prevail against this foe. The maker gods stood perplexed, and our engineers and priests scrambled to find the advantage in battle we so desperately needed. Unknown to the enemy, we were pushed to the brink of defeat, and our gods stood with us as we worked to find the answer. The Order of the Dag were the first to unlock the mystery of these foul creatures. The priests were able to capture several of the beasts and set about the identity of the source of their power. It was then that the essence of the dark realm was discovered. Not wholly unlike our own, this power was the life essence that flowed through their twisted form and powered their attacks. It could be harnessed to power our own weapons, giving the Argenta the chance to combat the demons on even footing. The priests believed that with greater knowledge of the essence, we could discover its source and cut it off from the demons to strangle their armies within, allowing us to regain advantage we acquired for victory on the battlefield. The Khan Maker gave us blessings to our majesty, and directed the priest to delve deeper into the mysteries of the scarlet elixir from the demonic realm, for she sought only to return balance to our universe. Proper assimilation was required, as hell stood beyond her influence. After great effort, the priests discovered more than they had ever hoped for. They learned of the true nature of the demonic energy and how it could strengthen those skilled enough to harness its power. The energy coursing through the malformed bodies of our relentless enemy could be used to end life, or to enhance it. The power to heal, to mend, immortality, known and enlightened faculties beyond our understanding. With the demon's life force in the skilled hands of the Sentinel priests, and under the righteous gaze of the Con Maker, our people would not only rise to victory over the unholy horde that clawed at our walls, we would move to a higher plateau of existence, ushering in a new era of military science and industrial healing. No Sentinel would grow sick. No Maker would need to suffer the transconfiguration that they so feared. All would be risen. None could ever oppose our peaceful ways and threaten our world again. True balance over hell and its legions, over space and time in this world, all others. We could dictate the order, united with the Makers. We would find peace eternal. And here we have okay. The Con Maker demanded a tithe of the essence, and driven by her desire to the priests submitted themselves to their will. The Order of the Dag took counsel with the king, speaking only of the spoiled lands sure to be found through the cleft in creation, and the opportunity to purge the new invaders from Argentinur. We took the war to their cursed land, pressing through the gates of wizardry. There was one among us who seemed to know the true nature of these foul demons. It was the Outlander, the stranger who had came to us from places unknown. He who had survived in the front lines far longer than any Sentinel-born prisoner had before. His passion for battle against the vile horde was evident, his lust for their destruction matching our own, though Argentinur remained a foreign land to him. His fervor caught the attention of the inquisitors of the Night Sentinels, some whispering of a suspected allegiance he held in secret with the demons. Silencing the critiques, King Novik deemed him worthy of selection. The signifiers brought a commission to our king, and it was decided that he be lifted from the common rabble. Okay. Though no arena-born prisoner had ever been granted the honor, the Night Sentinels broke tradition and deemed the Outworlder worthy of training. A number of disciples grumbled and cafted at the barbarian presence in their ranks, but in the war with the demons, all opportunities for even the slightest advantage was to be considered, and as they witnessed the strangers spar with their hall masters, they found him an undying, unrelenting compatriot. This man was an outsider, friend to none, and yet rose each time he was thrown in the dirt of the circle. Battered and bruised, his brow stained with blood, he rose from grim determination. For the chance to face his enemies in armed combat once again. Time passed as the stranger was instructed in the codified matrices of our order, the ancient lessons of battle and brotherhood taught to all sentinels. He could sense the opportunity before him. Soon, of all hell would fear his wrath once again. Satisfied that he would not be a determinant of their prowess, the Night Sentinels granted him his wish as they ventured through the hell gates with the stranger in tow. They knew no rest, fighting in the unnatural elements, and training under the blood moon of night. The stranger suffered exhaustion, wounds, and sickness, but asked for no aid, and was offered none. 3 times the Night Sentinels ventured into the gate and back, and upon every return, the stranger strode more capable than before. His gait locked in step with the march of the sentinels, a disciplined and now controlled lust for demon blood ever present. The passing of years and innumerous battles with the devils indentured in the stranger to Argenta's mightiest warriors, and no longer did they condescend to him as a new-blooded conscript, for to them he had become a brother in arms, forged in war, an ally, a weapon. Okay. As we warred with the beasts, the Argenta society grew, under the watchful eye of the makers and through the endless war of the essence. While our generals were consumed with the unholy war, our culture was marked by the beautiful potion the enemy had provided us, the sweet elixir. It brought us immeasurable capacity and empowered us to reach further into dimensions once thought to be beyond our grasp. Under the direction of our maker gods and the engineering of our high priests, our weapons blazed and our war machines stormed. The throngs of the populace drank deeply from the well of energy unveiled by the priests, but we of the Night Sentinels took no part in their abundance. Some of us whispered accusations and warnings against this manner of process, but they were quelled, as it was not our role to dictate the future of our people, only to defend it. We have that skin. As the dark star ascended to its zenith, King Novik sat restless on his throne as a howling darkness began to assemble just beyond the mountain rise to the east. The blight came upon us in droves, flooding forth from the Hellgate the merciless fury. They brought with them a monstrous titan, the Dreadnought, a beast who rivaled the stature and menace of even the mightiest ancestral. The grotesque giant laid waste to all before him, crushing all in his path. This was a total demonic assault, striking at the heart of Argent Dinner as never before. How was it that the behemoth could pass through the demonic gate without warning? We would never know, though the Night Sentinels believed treason was at play. Caught off guard, the Sentinels scrambled late in defiance of the Titan and his horde. With his coming, the holy city of Taras Nabad prepared for judgment. With the onslaught of the demons massed in the sprawling shadow of the abhorrent fiend, the city shook to its foundations. None were spared, save those that fled the north. The vile swarm ransacked our temples and palaces, burning our towers and feasting on the souls of our clergy? I don't know. Yet the Night Sentinels railed and held fast against the demons, though they were pushed back and corralled at the blood arena. As the dark of night descended, their swords remained potent and shred the enemy multitude with abandon. Amidst the unwieldy ranks of the Sentinels, when all other apprentices had fallen in battle, stood the outsider. Rip and tear, he roared, vicious in battle. The remaining conscripts of the arena stood in awe as they witnessed the beast who had once raged within their very cells, now armored alongside the strollers of the Sentinel brethren. He had risen where none other had before, a true-born Sentinel fighter, the very best among them. But though the swarm fell before their assault, and the Titan remained invincible, for none could tame the behemoth alone. In the hours before the dawn, hold on. As soon as I'm done with this, with this stream and reading, I need to turn off my headset and let it charge, because the charger keeps on falling out of it. In the hours before the dawn, as the Night Sentinels weathered the relentless assault, the outsider held his ground at the foot of the great wall in the northern bend of the castle. Seeing his unending vigor, Samor, counselor to the Mother God, hurried the outsider away under veil of secrecy, and for a reason unknown, submitted him to the rite untold. This was heresy, for Samor received no consent from the con maker, nor did he receive her counsel. In the chapel of purity, the outsider submitted himself to the divinity machine. There, Samor Maker, the seraphim known to us only as the aid to the Mother God, blessed the outsider with fierce speed and power to match his will. It was the method by which this transfusion took place that was most unconcerned to us, for we were of the knowledge that the maker device bestowed unto the Argenta so many generations ago was to be used by the priests only to find the impurity among us. How could it be that a device that was meant to call the Sentinel breed of its containment could then be used to purify the outlander's body and give rise to the one who would lead us into battle henceforth? What rose from the holy coffin on that fateful day was not the impure abomination the covenant warned us of. The hero within would come to be known only as the Great Slayer, the Time Walker, the warrior Khan whose fire blade would blaze forth a path for the just and cut through the demonic horde with a vengeance that only a god king would summon. He rose unbroken by the ritual, his eyes burned with maker magic. He took the crucible in his hand, and wraith fire leapt forward from the blade, as only it will when held by the true Sentinel warrior king. In our darkest hour, the Slayer has been chosen, defying tradition, our most sacred laws, and the will of the Great Khan herself. A stranger to our lands, had been blessed with celestial might. I seriously want to use a mech. It would be awesome. Hold on one second. With the coming of the Slayer, the Night Sentinels took the campaign deeper into the heartland of the demons than ever before. Mighty Atlans were brought forth, tearing paths through the hordes of hell alongside the Slayer and his army. The high priests, under the guidance of the Mother God, had found means to gain entry in the innermost regions of the demon world, and with the Dag's presence, new gates could be opened. Our war machines were unstoppable, wrought with maker technology, enhanced by the very essence our enemies hurled against us, as our armies drove deeper and deeper into the blood-drenched territory of the demons. Countless victories assured with the power of the Slayer, for with the Alpha Interfector at the fore of our pack, we brought certain doom to our foes. And though our hearts were pure and our purpose righteous, unbeknownst to the fighters of Argenta, in our wake, and under the veil of secrecy, the Mother God had set her priests to build vast factories upon the heathen's land, that we might gather the essence for further deployment. How this deception began, we would not know, for our focus remained on the hordes of the underworld. Why then would we stoop so low as to consider our Mother God of betraying our covenant? The Khan Maker did not seem at ease with the unforeseen rise of our Slayer, and the Seraphim who had birthed the Destroyer in secret soon vanished from Urdok, perhaps exiled for his heresy. Our legions rose, unfettered under the unquenchable rage of the Doomslayer, and his design led the Khan Maker to find profit in his endorsement. It soon became known that the Slayer was the Maker's God machine, a holy relic reborn, sent to bring the Maker's word to the wicked and to smite those who would seek to harm all who followed the path to Ordak. With the Slayer unwittingly cleaving a path for her, the Mother God, again with this word, siphoned the essence. Siphoned. But it's, I don't know. Processing it beyond our knowledge into the fuel that would come to be known as Argent Energy. The Slayer cared not for polity. He took no interest in the workings of our people, but set his task only on his desire, the destruction of the demons and their world. He no longer spoke for reasons unknown, though it was understood that he still possessed the ability, offering only guttural hefts of anger as he inflicted pain upon his enemies. For years he marched with the Night Sentinels through the fires of the demon lands, and every turn to our homeland we found much changed to Argentinor. Should any blame be proportioned to the Sentinels, it is this: in our fervor we were negligent of our people, and did not see the rising tide of evil our crusade empowered. We knew only the enemy laid before us, and the wealth of Argenta at our backs, and did not pause to seek the cost and method of his progress. Yet as the Slayer and the Night Sentinels battled the demonic host, their failure to act outside the confines of their duty allowed the Rancer of the Essence to grip the Argenta. It was a mission deep within the boiling seas of the Netherrealm, where the Order of the Six reside, that a company of Night Sentinels learned of the Con Maker's true dealings with the Colossus beasts. By Maker design, it was kept secret from the Sentinels and Argent people alike that the essence we had grown so reliant on during this war was compromised of the very spirit of our brothers and sisters who'd fallen to these vile creatures. The truth had been uncovered, that all beings who found their end by the demonic horde had become a vassal of the hellscape, their flesh in time twisted into the very demons we fought, their souls extracted to create the essence that powers their world and ours. The victims were the enemy, and the enemy would become us. The soldiers stood in awe at the base of the factory dedicated to such action, a place where the bodies of the slain were sorted and processed, tortured for the mill, to have their souls extracted through sinister magic. Enormous vats of pain and suffering, ethereal magic, the haunting sounds of lost souls, awash in an eternal servitude, transformed into energy to power our struggle against the dark realm and its malice. But worse than this grim reality was the discovery of the machine which was used to innate the vile process our fallen had been subjected to. For it was not by hoof and claw that this blasphemous technology had come to pass, but by the hand of the Argenta, guided by the Mother God's desire. We had fallen deep into the grasp of the enemy. What we had fought against would not reveal itself to be true, as without countenance we could hold no sway over the Argenta populace. Regardless, the honor of the Night Sentinels would have to hold up the verity of these claims, and the Mother God could be our divinity no more. The secret corridors of the Clanten's conference, the Night Sentinels would find those against them who similarly distrusted the essence and had foretold the swelling corruption. Once the truth could be shared, the skeptics became members of the Sentinel insurrection. I don't know. I'm dyslexic today. And the breach between holy and unholy Argenta began to grow. So, civil war came to be. The truth could not be denied. The unholy spires raised from the barren lands functioned by a blessing of Maker machinery. The Khan had betrayed Argent Denor, and had made concert with the demons to harvest their essence, in return granting them access to all the worlds under her influence. All symbolic relationship had formed, and darkness now had been balanced by the light. For where there was heaven, so there could be a hell. The followers could be granted passage to Urdak, and the sinners would fall into the fiery pits of the Dark Realm. This word would be spread from all cultures, in all worlds, and in all places. We were not without blame, for it was our people, the priests and sentinel engineers, who laid the work in place. Argenta's slaves had built the dark factories, and our own ancient wraith energy helped purify Hell's elixir into the miracle fuel that now powered the Maker's world and our own. The Night Sentinels spoke of the evil brought by the essence, and carried their word to all who would listen. We had helped to create this dichotomy, and so it must be for the Argenta to stop the spread of this pestilence, this new phase of existence, and the dark and the light. If not for us, then for the innocent whose worlds have yet to fall under the spell of the Maker God and her unseen allies in the Hell Dimension. Even when the Night Sentinels returned from the demonic realm with tales of slave factories that damned the souls of the innocent, the indoctrinated masses of Argent Denor took no quarrel with the Makers. They were indebted to the demon essence. The ministers deliberating but finding no basis for change. The messengers were cast down for daring to speak against those who had been gifted us so many, our gods. The Makers, in their infinite wisdom, would see fit that the faithful continue life anew in Urdak. They feared the wrath of the Mother God. A lifetime of servitude would not be undone in this insurrection. This was simply another trial, a test of faith to identify those who were truly worthy to experience life eternal in Urdak. The Argenta would not waver in their resolve. The Night Sentinels prepared for war once again, though this battle meant drawing blood of their own brothers. Our army had seen the work of the demons firsthand and knew its evil. They had returned to the way of the race, and though their armament was diminished without the essence, it remained pure and righteous. A division amongst the Argenta had occurred, one side standing in opposition to the doctrine of the Makers, the other locked in belief. The ascended empire was comprised of the faithful and misled, wielding the desecrated energies of hell, the power of the Makers, and the marauders who had sided with the Khan. The Night Sentinels were bolstered by the free people of Argenta and the mightiest of all killers, the Doom Slayer himself. plans and tactics were drawn. The Sentinels would close the Argent energy factories in Necroval, that which fed the world of Urdak directly to its supply of fresh essence. They would stop the flow. The slumbering wraiths would wake from their sleep and give Argent Denor courage. For years the Civil War raged and took its toll on the soldiers as their armor laid stained with the blood of their brothers on a cursed battlefield. Finally, an opportunity to end the war had been discovered by the Order Dag and the Night Sentinels. With the Slayer at the head of their army, they gathered to traverse through the gate and sunder Necroval, the city of the dead. The Order of the Dag, the high priests who had pledged their allegiance long ago to the Night Sentinels, worked in service of our mission. Those holy priests who had served the Argenta since time immemorable, assuring us that the way it was clear. A plan was set to march into the accursed walls of Necroval and smite the factory, cutting off the flow of essence to Nerdak and denying the Conmaker of her prize. Our forces took spear in hand and advanced, and it was there that the venom of treachery stunk. Upon entry through the Hell Portal, the Night Sentinels were scattered to the winds of unplanned chaos. Our warriors were separated. Our ranks split as the gates twisted and hurled them across the unholy realm. Some of our warriors appeared near to gates they had walked before, but found that the vile priests had barred the way back. Then the trap was sprung, and each lone Argenta found himself set upon by bloodthirsty multitudes of demonic beasts. Let it be known that it was not the priests alone who failed the northern armies, but one of the Sentinels' own. Hell found his weakness and exploited it to the demise of Argent Denor. If not for the betrayer's stroke of madness, the Wraith's power would still be our own, and the Sentinel flag would still rise above Argent Denor to this day. The final reading. First, scattered in hell, abandoned by their clergy, and reinforcements, the Sentinels proved their worth in what would be their final war with the forces of all evil, unrelenting power in the face of certain death. The Sentinels crashed hundreds of demons and skewered titans. When their Atlands held no more fuel, the Sentinels took to the ground and fought the swarms on land. All of hell knew of the betrayal, for it was without question the makers and the priests who sowed the seeds of deceit long before the brave warriors passed through the gate. What hell saw that day was the beating heart of the free people of Argenta Denor. They did not flinch in the face of their own death. They died as they lived, with sword and shield in hand. Urdak, too low a place to host such giants. Theirs would be the fate of warrior gods, remembered for all time. Lord Sash, the stalwart banner sergeant, was found with his war standard pierced through the throat of the great beast. His body surrounded by the corpses of enemies. Roan the mighty. The light faded from his eyes. He had eviscerated such a multitude that their entrails clang to the black rocks like vine. Gore, relentless until the end, had broken his blade on the backs of his foe, and by the time he fell he had slain another 200 with his hands alone. The priest believed the Sentinels all slain, but we are Argenta, born to overcome. Rumors, deemed heretical by the Order Dag, persist and claim that the Slayer himself still rages in the unholy realm. None who live can know, for the future of Argent Denor had been bent and twisted by the perverted vision of the essence drinkers. Never again will the light of the wraiths illuminate our world. All has fallen. If the Slayer does live, let him carry our vengeance forward. If he persists, let him wreak violence on those who had wronged us. May the blood of his sword never dry. May his war never end until the guilty had been punished. And may this evil never again spread its shadow another world. So that was the rise and the fall of the Sentinels. That was quite the read. I am very thirsty. It took like an hour read, but we did it. So that is the history of the Night Sentinels and the lore bits of the enemies. Probably tomorrow I will do more. I'll progress through more with the campaign. But right now, I think that will wrap things up for today. So with that, this has been Ultra Sting 16, signing off.